All right, let's just jump right in. We're going to break down a playbook for what feels like a completely new economic game. Seriously, you can forget all the old advice. This is about how to survive and even thrive in the world as it is right now.
Man, doesn't that just hit home? It feels like there's this massive gap between the future we were all promised and the one we're actually living in. So let's get into why that is.
And that brings us to this idea of the 2026 anxiety. You know what I'm talking about? It's that feeling of just running as fast as you can on a treadmill, but not actually going anywhere. We're all hyper-connected, yet somehow, when it comes to our money and our careers, we feel completely alone.
You know this feeling, right? You're putting in the hours, you are doing all the work. But then you look at your bank account and the needle just isn't moving. And meanwhile, you're scrolling through LinkedIn and see someone your age just exited a company for millions, and you're over here just trying to justify buying a fancy coffee. It's a brutal, brutal comparison game.
In this quote, this just nails it. It perfectly captures the problem. All those traditional goals, the house, the stable career, a nice retirement, they feel like they're premium features, locked behind a paywall that just keeps getting more and more expensive.
So why does the whole game feel so rigged? Well, a huge piece of the puzzle is the constant, unfiltered noise. It's this nonstop fire hose of contradictory advice getting blasted at us from every direction 24/7.
One minute, you've got some 19-year-old on TikTok who's suddenly a crypto genius telling you that you're an idiot for missing the boat.
The next, it's all about flipping digital art that was made by an algorithm. You gotta jump in now, right? Before it's too late.
And of course, there's the relentless pressure to turn every single second of your life into yet another passive income stream that, let's be honest, feels anything but passive.
And that is exactly what it is. Pure, unfiltered noise. It's not a real strategy. It's just a bunch of distractions that are perfectly designed to make you feel like you're always one step behind.
Let's just be real for a second. When was the last time you actually checked your bank account without that little knot forming in your stomach? That constant anxiety? Well, that's the price we pay for all this chaos. But what if? What if we could just change the rules of the game entirely?
Okay, deep breath. Enough about the problem. Let's start talking about the solution. It's time to stop thinking in terms of the old middle class and to start thinking about something new, the skill class. This is a huge, fundamental shift in your mindset.
This slide really lays out the whole contrast. The old middle-class mindset, that's about chasing ghosts, running a race that somebody else designed for you. But the skill class, that's about building solutions and designing your own race. You're not just a cog in the machine anymore, you're the architect.
So, the big question, how do you actually do this? Let's get practical. Here is the new career playbook. It's built on 3 core pillars that are designed for the economy of 2026. Not, 1996. These are the 3 pillars. It's about becoming an AI orchestrator, finding a hyper niche for yourself, and building your personal brand as actual proof of your work. See, companies today, they're not just hiring resumes anymore. They're hiring people who can provide demonstrated solutions.
So let's talk about that first pillar, AI orchestration. Look, it is not enough to just use AI by asking it a question. The real skill, the valuable skill, is in building workflows, connecting a bunch of different tools together to create an automated system that solves a real business problem. Let's just put some numbers on this. Say you build one of these automated systems. For a company, that could easily create $50,000 in value. It could save them tons of employee hours or make them way more efficient. That's the value you're creating. And this is the value you can capture. It's totally reasonable to charge, say, 15 grand for building that $50,000 solution. The crucial thing to understand here is you're not getting paid for your time anymore. You are getting paid for the value of the solution you built. Okay, but making more money is only half the battle, right? You can't out-earn bad financial habits. So, along with the new career playbook, you need a new money playbook. This is all about building a solid foundation so that all your hard work actually turns into wealth.
Here it is, your 4-step money checklist for 2026. First, get your cash out of that big bank account that's paying you nothing and move it to a high-yield savings account, at HYSA, where you can actually earn some decent interest. Second, you have to max out your Roth IRA. That's a retirement account where your investments grow completely tax-free. Future you is going to thank you, trust me. Third, automate your investing. Set up an auto transfer into a broad market index fund like VTI or VOO. We're not day trading here, we're playing the long game. And finally, the most important investment of all, Take 5% of your income and reinvest it in your own skills. The return on investment on that, it's higher than any stock you could ever buy.
So, what's the final word here? What does this all boil down to? Look, the old game might feel rigged, and maybe it is, but that doesn't mean you have to lose. It just means it's time to stop playing their game and start building your own.
This is so critical. All that mental energy you waste comparing your messy real life to someone else's perfectly curated online highlight reel, that is energy you could be using to build your skills, to find your niche, to create your own solutions. Your journey is yours, period.
And this right here, this is the fundamental shift in your identity. You are not just a number in a spreadsheet somewhere. You're not just an employee. You are a builder. You're someone who creates value, solves problems, and architects their own future.
You've got the playbook. You've got the tools. You have the brain. The only question left is, what are you going to build?